Hello, everybody, again. Here I am for another planet reading. Right now, it's going to be the moon reading. So, we did Mercury not too long ago, and I'm just going to do a moon reading now. I'm going to go through a whole bunch of different planets and things. We're going to see what we get. This is for moon. So basically the way these readings work is you can take a look at the moon in either transit or your birth chart, and you can see or another person's birth chart if another person shows up. And this might be a reading along kind of just to match some kind of important transit or important point of synastry between two people, or even just to show some events or whatever's going to happen. We'll see. First card that comes out is the Fool in reverse. Ace of Swords. And Six of Wands. Let me just take a look at this quick and see where we are. Well, of course, what we know is that the moon kind of is something about subconscious or emotions or things that can't really be described. So moon readings are pretty difficult to speak about in words, but images help. I'm just feeling this kind of really out of the Ace of Swords here. I know if any of the collective were present for the last bunch of streams, you'd know that the Ace of Swords was kind of showing up quite a bit. This is kind of an extension of Ace of Swords. It's really funny. We were in the full moon not too long ago, actually yesterday, from when I record this video. That there's some kind of some kind of like understanding that comes about what it is to celebrate personal success. And it just, as it was being reported before, the Fool is very much the energy that the Ace comes in with. It's basically just this random thing that happens, and maybe somebody stumbles around and just says something slips out of somebody's mouth, and all of a sudden everything becomes so clear. We were getting the Judgment card too. This is something that is brought to light just at the right time to finally explain something that's been going on for a really long time. And it would be in the emotional space. Like, why have I been feeling this way for so long? The reason is this tiny little piece of information that comes in. And the answer is so that you can enjoy that feeling of personal success, that you did it, that you made it. This is kind of like the feeling of having made it. It's interesting. It's kind of like a lot of you might know that I've been pretty obsessed with the Olympics this summer. And so this is like a gymnast who's finally finished their routine of doing backflips and all these different really, really amazing feats. And then they just land and they say, ta-da! So there's going to be a sense of relief that comes in, I think. It's really funny. I'm just coming in from mowing the lawn and my arms are so sore. Queen of Wands, King of Swords in reverse, Two of Swords. I feel like there was something that basically it's to shine a light on what wasn't known before. What wasn't known was basically because we were in a position of having to not believe what we were seeing. It's like basically like we were seeing something. But we didn't want to see that thing. We wanted to believe that what was happening was something different. What was happening was a good thing, that it was a wise thing. Could be a decision that somebody was making. It could be even a decision that we were forced to make. Really just energy coming from outside. Like we didn't know why this thing happened, why it was decided. So it's calculated this way. And it seems as though that very same person or that very same thing that brings the clarity that we finally get is they'd put that in the first place. They kind of like were the ones to make some kind of move or something, or do something that we would see, and we didn't know how to make sense of seeing what we were seeing, and also considering it to be a wise decision. And so the clarity that comes in is something that sheds light on that darkness. Four of Cups. Was it a wise decision? How could it be a wise decision to withdraw from something? Page of Cups over here. Wow. 10 of Swords and the 8 of Cups. Well, if I put this all one on top of the other, I'm kind of looking at this energy here. I feel as though having seen something is something that kind of arose by accident. There was a Page of Cupsness to it. What we saw in someone, or what we saw in something, weren't expecting it. We weren't expecting to see that. And so it was just kind of like we stumbled into it with innocent curiosity. Same kind of innocent curiosity that eventually leads us to this feeling of personal success, which we'll keep that in mind for a minute while we go over here. I think there's a piece of grass in my eye. I'm having mowed the lawn. Withdrawing. We saw them withdrawing, or we saw something withdrawing, or someone withdrawing. It could be something just minor, but I've got a 10 of Swords here. Like, really, if you think about the thing that happened, it would be something that would be very, very harmful. Like, it would just be like, like that there was basically, like, this is kind of 10 of Swords is like that there's nobody looking out for this person right now. There's nobody, they're on their own with all of the kind of like people. It's like being that thing in sewing. It's like that little beanbag thing that you stick your needles into. Just here, I'm just going to put my needle here and then walk away. You wouldn't think much about the little bag and how they feel. It's kind of like somebody who's been left for dead. Left for dead, basically. I mean, I guess I'm saying I don't see it as that serious, but it could be that there was like, that was the reaction. So, we like to think about our actions in, like, we want to tell somebody that they're overreacting. Sometimes we do, quote unquote, overreact, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means that somebody did something that wouldn't have hurt them, but it definitely hurt you, kind of thing. And goodness, if that happened, then I feel like it's not wanting to believe that this is the type of person who is ignorant to how others feel, or something like that. Or this is a situation that didn't have your best interests at heart. I'm really feeling like this could be like an institution, like looking at this institution that's supposed to be highly revered and wise. Meanwhile, as it turns out, they don't really care. It doesn't really keep in mind your experience. And it withdraws. It withdraws in a moment when it's like, hey, like if this was like a school or something, for example, and say you were a student with special needs and the school just ignored your special needs, just left you there, then it's like they're withdrawing at the moment when you go and you ask, like, hey, how come you're doing that? Because I really thought highly of this institution, but it seems as though you're not really caring much about everybody's experience. And like they wouldn't email back in that moment or something. There would be some kind of a, well, now what do we do? Because we don't want to ignore that situation, but we also don't want to lose our kind of good feeling about that situation either. Like it just kind of challenges what we thought we knew. Well, the answer is 8 of Cups here, that I think that there's a situation where we're forced to kind of leave this situation behind. Maybe it's, if it is that school or institution, it might close down. If it's a job, it might end. And in that kind of ending, it's almost like the issue takes care of itself. Thank goodness. Good riddance. Well, the Sun is pointing to a different story. And the 9 of Wands. So this is maybe leaning towards a relationship version of the story. We don't want to believe that somebody can be happy all the while leaving someone for dead in a relationship. That might be something. We don't want to believe that that's something that somebody can sit in happiness with. Like, how can you be happy after having left someone completely, you know, like it's just ignoring, basically. There's like an ignoring energy here. But we see it, or for some reason, we see that there's a whole lot of joy, and there's an ignoring that's going on. 9 of Wands, it's like, there's an ignoring that goes on, and then when it's just like, okay, fine. So this is people in the collective. Say you just kind of see this and you say, I don't want to make sense of that. I'm out of here. Fine, I'm gone, you know. And they don't notice right away because they're ignoring. And then all of a sudden they notice you're gone and then they come back. It's kind of like that. I've got the 9 of Wands here. This idea that somebody doesn't like the idea that they're being ignored. Meanwhile, there's someone who ignores. Queen of Cups. The reading is really pointing to, in either of those scenarios, whether it's an institution, a job, a relationship, it's like, how do you feel about it? Let's step away from trying to make sense of what other people or other situations are doing. We're never going to fully know what happens in the darkness of that, in the moon energy of that. What we're going to know is how we feel, and we have to feel it. So unfortunately, sometimes situations happen that are really like, leave us like in these places where we've really been treated poorly. And unfortunately, sometimes the way it goes is that we still have to feel the feelings of it, even though it's not fair. This really doesn't feel fair. We still have to feel it. How do we go about feeling something like that? I'm sure the feelings are okay, but the mind... Well, this is going to be a nice short reading. And Colin's going to come for a visit right before I say the end part. Here's Colin, everybody. Hi, Colin. He's like, what's going on here? What's happening? Hi. Yeah. Cute little guy. Him and Dirk are doing a lot better today. Things are going back to normal here at the church since they had their vacation. That's his tail rubbing against the microphone. Goodness, Colin could do tail ASMR. Well, you gotta let him have his segment. Everybody, it's the Colin segment. Yeah. Thanks for the visit, little guy. Oh, I'm hearing Dirk. Where are you, Dirk? Oh, Colin's gone now. That's about that. Okay, so how do we go about doing that? You know, or what's that for? Like sitting with those feelings of a situation like this. Where do we go with that kind of thing? It's like that's the thing that I said, is that we're really not going to understand why things happened on somebody else's side. The why of why somebody did what they did, that's kind of their department. And whether or not they're going to, you know, ever act differently, like just go with what you know, go with what you've experienced over time, and put your loyalty into things that treat you right, and focus on what it is that you can give to a situation rather than what you're getting out of a situation. Because if you're focusing on what you're getting from these places, I mean, you know by experience, the answer is not enough. So thank goodness there was this random act of ignoring going on, because now that they're ignoring you, basically it gives you a situation where they're showing you that, well, clearly I can't put my loyalty there, kind of thing. And keep on putting your loyalty to places where you can give, though. See, that's a little bit of a sidestep that I think can help us sometimes to get to this place of personal victory. If we can bring ourselves back into the energy of what we're giving, just trust me on this one, it really is putting ourselves in positions where we can give what we have to offer. I can guarantee you that that side of things is just as important, if not more important than what we're getting out of something. We need to have that feeling like we're contributing to something that matters. This is a short reading, the shortest reading I've probably ever done. Thank goodness. I'm going to press stop. This is the reading, and hopefully it hits in someone's moon energy. And the cats are just going to go for a run. Well, as I always say, take care, comb your hair, and if you don't have any hair, comb it less frequently or not at all. And just take care.